Finished the welding. I've done about 1 foot weld every other foot, and all the way to the top. Behind here, I can get the thing to work. Up at the very top, you'll see some gussets. They are a foot apart. Those 3 up there. Further down here, there is 2 feet away. At 3 feet, I've got this one, and then in 4 feet, the last one. There's 6 altogether. And the reason I've spaced them out that way is because when this door is open, that's a 7-foot long lever with 200 or 300 pounds at the end of it. And so what I've done is at the very top, I can't seem to get this thing to show it right, but at the very top, that's where most of the stress is on this channel, on this track. So I've put gussets there where the stress is highest. I'm going to look to see how it's deflecting, if any, when the door opens. I can always add more later.
85 and 5/8 to right.
What I have to do today is use this angle iron to chop off a bit of it here, and I'll mount the roller to it down at the bottom, and I'll weld it onto here. These are the original roller bearings I was going to use at the base of the door. But there were 2 problems with them. I couldn't find an axle, easy axle to use, and they're a pretty big diameter. If you can imagine, this is the track that's on the beam. The beam goes right here, and this one here is the bracket that goes on the bottom of the door. It's got a ride on that flange. There's just a little bit of room there, and that's fine, it would fit. But then I found a pair of these in my scrap that I keep. A pair of heavy-duty cast iron casters that came from a floor jack. And the floor jack, the hydraulic piston had broken on it, so I scrapped it out, but I kept the wheels. And here's one of the wheels that came off of there. That's a nice size, plenty of room between what will be the beam right on the track. And you can see how these are aligned. That's about the way it's going to be. This bracket's going to be right. This edge is going to be level with this surface here on the outside of the track. So that's going to fit in there. And what I've got to do, this mark is 2 7/8 inches. I've just got to mark that and drill a hole so that it rides where it has to ride on that. That is a little under 1/2 inch, that hole. But I didn't, because a 1/2 inch shoulder bolt meant that this part was pretty small. This is a 1/2 inch bolt here, but that makes the shoulder 5/8. So So I had to buy myself another drill bit. Drill these out to 5/8, and then I'll drill a 1/2 inch hole right there, and that'll go through. Now when I come time to put these brackets onto the bottom of the door, I was expecting to just weld them on. There's no way, because once that's welded on, that's in there, and I would never be able to get that wheel off again. I'd never be able to get the bolt out because that's going to be captive between the flange, the track here. So these have to be bolted on. So this is a little bit wider than that shoulder. It doesn't stick out. So I have to cut a bit of this off, which isn't a problem. And that way the shoulder sticks out further than the center part of the wheel. I've braced the upper panel to be in the shut position on both sides over there as well, so that I can work on the bottoms here where I've got the brackets, the roller brackets, ready to be bolted on. So I'm going to raise this lower paddle up, rest it on a sawhorse so I can work on it. So I've taken some of these heavy-duty hinges, like what's holding the door together, and I've welded a piece on top because I didn't have barn hinges, strap hinges. And I needed that because I wanted this extra little extension. This is what's going to hold a counterweight cable that goes up to the roof and then over and then down to a counterweight. And the reason for this is rather than have the cable bearing onto a post or a peg or something I've welded onto the bottom, I use a hinge. I like the idea of it. This is in the shut position, and when the door opens, this is pulling up, and the hinge is working, the door is moving up, but the strap stays straight, or the cable stays straight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill some holes like that into the bottom of the door frame and mount these up. I should mention that I'm only using 2 of these straps because I think that's adequate for the weight of this door, and it's 3/16 inch cable, which is more than weight rated enough. The pulleys I'm using are rated 1,500 pounds a piece, way overbuilt. But I just don't want to have to worry about them, and they're not that much more expensive than smaller things. Now I've only got 2, and the way I've spaced them out on here, this door is just a little under 14 feet. So at 3.5 feet, I've got half the weight. For that strap, it's sharing exactly half the weight. The other cable, I should say, the other cable's got the other half, and that's evenly divided. That's the theory anyway, so I'm sticking with that.